Welcome back, guys. Today I thought I'd do a short video on configuring an open box installation. Now this would apply if you're using OpenBox in either Ubuntu, Debian, or Arch. And this is pretty much what you would see once you did your first boot after installation of a distribution that's using OpenBox as its window manager. So I'm going to go through with you the steps, and I am by no means an expert in OpenBox, but I'm going to go through some of the steps that I use when trying to configure your OpenBox or my new OpenBox installation from this blank gray screen that you see when you do your first boot to this with everything configured exactly the way you'd want it. Now, it seems a little more difficult than it actually is. And if you take it step by step, you can actually use the OpenBox window manager as a desktop environment, and you can set up your system tray icons that you see in the bottom right corner. You can set up the panel just the way you'd like it. You can change the wallpaper. You can set everything up to start automatically when you boot your machine. And it's pretty easy to do. And I'm going to give you a simple guide that you can follow. Now, the first thing that I would recommend that you do with an OpenBox installation, whether it be Debian, Arch, or Ubuntu, is install OB Menu Generator. Now, OB Menu Generator basically gives you the ability to create a dynamic menu with icons. And when I say dynamic menu, what I mean is that when you install a program, it will automatically populate into your menu. So if I right click, you can see that I've got a full menu with icons for everything that I've installed. That does not come default out of the box. OB Menu Generator gives you the ability to do that very quickly and easily. Now in Arch, OB Menu Generator is available in the Yowit repository. In Ubuntu, it's in the Ubuntu repos. Now in Debian, it's a little bit more complicated, of course. This is a Debian install, and I'm going to show you, if I open up my browser, Opera, I'm going to show you the easiest way to do that. And I'll give you the links to these websites. But in this OB Menu Generator LX Linux website, in order to get OB Menu Generator working in Debian, you need to follow this procedure down at the bottom. Actually, you're adding Sparky Linux repo to your Debian install, and it's all spelled out here. It's pretty easy. And that's what I did. I added the Sparky repo, then I installed OB Menu Generator, and once you have OB Menu Generator installed, the fastest way to create this dynamic menu with the icons of your choosing is by going to a terminal and type OB Menu Generator -P -I. That will generate a dynamic menu with icons. Okay? Dynamic menu has been successfully generated. And there you go, you've got it. So that's the easiest way. If you don't want icons, then just take that -I out of your command, and you'll have the menu without icons. So that's the first topic that I wanted to cover with you, and I'll give you the links to those websites. The second one is your panel. The panel is Tint 2. Now, you can install that by installing Tint 2 using whatever distribution. So in Debian, it's available apt-get install Tint 2. Once you have Tint 2, you're going to run a command called tint2 conf. That's going to open up your configurator. Now, as you can see, it's got all of the various panels available. I'm using this default one up the top, a dark panel. You can modify the panel. For example, this particular panel had the desktop designation, but since I'm only using one desktop, I eliminated that. If you want to eliminate that desktop little label there, you just uncheck this box. If I check it and I click apply, you can see it's now back in my panel. It's just a matter of unchecking, click apply. Now, for launchers, all you need to do is click on Launcher. All of your applications that are available will be in the right side, and I'm going to use Gparted as an example. So if I go to Gparted and I highlight it and I click the arrow to the left, it will populate in the left. Let me show you that. So now it's in the left, but it won't show on my panel until I click apply. And now you can see it's in my panel. So everything that you need in order to be able to configure your Tint 2 panel is in the Tint 2 conf. Very simple. Just it requires that you spend a little time learning how to navigate this configuration menu. And then you can select any of the available panels that you see. Once you have it configured the way you want, just click apply, OK, and you're done. Now, when you add system tray applications, the icon will populate into your system tray. The only thing you need to do is set up auto start. And the way that you do that, there are two ways of doing it, and you'll see that I am using both ways. If you go into your file manager and you enable hidden files, .config, Openbox, auto start. You want to open that with your text editor. You can see now in that particular auto start file, which is under .config Openbox, I'm using that one to put commands in and to start basically applications on boot. So I've got nitrogen, and this dash restore restores the last wallpaper that I enabled as my desktop wallpaper. So that brings up your default wallpaper. You have to put the little and sign after each of these commands. So it's space and sign. Tint 2 starts the panel, space and sign. Clip it starts clip it right there in my system tray, and sign. Solar starts solar, and that's this little battery icon that keeps track of the battery levels in my Logitech wireless devices. Then I've got my Compton start command. Then I've got my NVIDIA anti-screen tearing command. And by the way, I do not have any screen tearing. It works perfectly. And then I've got my X screensaver no splash command to start my screensaver. That's what I'm doing in the Openbox startup file. There is another auto start file. If I go backwards, you'll see in .config there is an auto start, and that is handling applications for my system tray. So if I open that, you can see I've got pSensor, Redshift, and Synapse. And all I did was copy the desktop icons from my user share applications folder. And that starts these three. So you can use either one of those auto starts or a combination of the two. This one works with icons for applications and not so well with commands. So between those two auto start folders or files, you have all the bases covered. So that takes care of auto starting. Now, desktop themes and icon themes can be handled pretty much the same way you do with LXDE. Now, there are two ways of handling it. If you install LX Appearance, you will have in your menu customized look and feel. So that's what you would normally use when you have LXDE. And if you want to run LXDE, of course, you can just install that on top of Openbox. But if you just want a plain, fast, no frills desktop, Openbox does a great job. Now, for widget, you would just select the icon, the theme that you want. Of course, color. Now, colors won't work because you need to have LX Session as your session manager, and that's not the case if you're running Openbox. It will be the case if you're running LXDE. Icon theme, I installed Fienza. Mouse cursor, window border, font. It's all the same as you would within, if you install LX Appearance, these configuration options are the same as you would use in LXDE. Okay, now you've also got Openbox configuration, and that's Openbox Configuration Manager. If you click on that, you can see I've got the Arc Darker theme enabled, and I've got my icons. Everything is configurable. I'm going to get this down to 1 because I don't use that desktop label on the panel. Margins and dock. So everything is configurable within Openbox Configuration Manager. You do have some control. Now, if you want to add new themes, you can see that I have added a few themes. If I go into my file manager and I go to my downloads folder, you can see I've got Openbox themes. Now, Openbox themes are designated with an OBT suffix. So if you download an Openbox theme, all you need to do, you put it in your downloads folder, make sure it has a .obt suffix. Then all you need to do is open up Openbox Configuration Manager, and click Install a New Theme. Once you click on that, you're going to find your OBT file and double click it, and it'll install it. And then it'll be available to you in your Openbox Configuration Manager. And that's how I ended up with Arc Darker. As you can see, I've got Arc Dark and Arc. So I've got new themes installed. And again, you can install, when you go into boxlook.org, they'll have lots of themes that you can install to make your desktop look just the way you want. Icons, the same thing. I used the standard Debian repos to install Fienza icon theme, and then I used my customized look and feel to activate those icons. And again, as long as you install LX Appearance, you'll be able to do that. Now, once you've installed your icons, if you're using the Tint 2 panel, you need to take it one step further and enable them. And if you open your terminal, Tint 2 CONF, you will see that in the launcher window, down at the bottom, you'll have your icon theme. That's where you'll want to enable the icon theme that you want to show in your panel. So that's one extra step. If you're using Tint 2, you won't change your icon theme in the panel until you make the change right there. So don't miss that step. If you change icons, make sure you go into Tint 2. After you enable them in your Openbox configuration or your LX Appearance, go into your Tint 2 configuration and enable the correct icon. Now for your Wallpaper Manager, I installed Nitrogen. So if I go to Accessories, Nitrogen, all you need to do is install Nitrogen, click on Preferences, and add your Pictures folder. It will make all of these, whatever wallpapers that are in your Pictures folder, it'll make them available. So if I want a different wallpaper, I'll just click Apply. And that command that you saw in my AutoStart folder to restore the default Nitrogen wallpaper, it will automatically load it on my next boot. Now you can see my system tray is populated with all the normal applications that I normally run. All my system tray utilities are working fine. Now in the clock, that's configurable in your Tint 2 CONF. So if and by the way, I added Tint 2 CONF to my launchers, so all I have to do is click that little icon. And if I go to clock, you can see that you can change the fonts. So for example, if I want to make that font larger, I can go to a 10, click OK, click Apply, and that font is now larger. So you can change the configuration of the clock using the standard Linux time formatting. First line format, second line format. You can change that within this Tint 2 CONF under clock. Very, very easy to do once you understand the mechanics of the Tint 2 configuration. So that will give you a good overview on how to theme your Openbox window manager and use it as a desktop environment, keeping your computer running as fast as possible based on your hardware. So now if I go back to my Opera browser, you can see I'm going to include this website on how to install OB menu generator. Again, with Arch it's available, with Ubuntu it's available, with Debian you'll have to add the Sparky repo. Boxlook.org, I'll give you this link. It has a lot of nice Openbox themes that you can add to your desktop. And there are plenty of websites online showing you other ways of configuring your Openbox desktop. The more you read, the more you investigate, the more you research, the more you'll know. So guys, that is it for this brief video. Basically, this was a video showing you how to configure your Openbox desktop environment from plain and drab to this desktop that you see here. And so guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Take care.